I'm so excited. My window decal came in today. Actually, it didn't come in today, but I found it today because I got it a little while ago. Can't wait for this to go up in the window. In what window, you ask? Well, we'll talk about that later. Anyways, it's 12:30. Hello, everyone. It's time for you and I to discuss it with Drake because what time is it? It's 12:30. That's right, so you're going to have an appointment. Welcome to episode number 43. And today's topic is actually kind of a fun one. It is, how much does it cost to build a house? It's going to be a quick discussion today. But yeah, before we get started, just want to remind you that if you ever miss a live broadcast, just simply go over to YouTube, type in Drake's Real Estate TV, hit subscribe. I'd greatly appreciate that. So let's get started. So maybe you've been looking for a home for quite some time. Okay, and nothing on the market is meeting your needs, or like a lot of people, you are exhausted for being involved in the multiple offers, hostile environment that most of us are facing across the country. So you might also be at a point where you just don't want to sell and you want your dream forever home now. So in these situations, you might decide to build rather than buy an existing home. But how much does it really cost? So the cost of building a custom home depends a lot on so many individual factors. Okay, so like, for example, depending on where you live, the materials you use, and your square footage. A custom built home is also different from production build because in a production build, you're choosing certain customization options within a subdivision. While your home is in some ways custom, you're still limited to selecting from what the builder or the developer offers. So that's like when you go to model homes and they're in phase 2, but you're a purchaser in phase 3, you can pick up flooring and stuff like that. And please keep in mind, these are nationwide average costs. So it could be vastly different in your area. So the average cost nationwide to build a home in 2017 was $428,000. Now that estimate is based on a single family home of about 2,800 square feet. And based on that, the average cost to build the home was $153 per square foot. So let's just talk about a little bit different cost by region. So according to the U.S. Census Bureau's survey of the median price per square foot for new homes, in 2017, in the Northeast, the average cost was $161. In the West, the average cost per square foot was about $139. In the South, it was $100. For the Midwest, the average cost was about $106. So that means if you want a deal, hopefully you're building in the South or perhaps the Midwest. But if that's not the case, of course, just make it known that the Northeast is the most expensive region to actually build. And even within a certain region, the cost can vary depending on the county or city with which you're building. Okay, so how do the individual costs break down? Well, so you're building in a home, you're quite literally starting from the ground up, right? So after you buy the land, you'll begin what's called the site work. Now, site work includes inspections, plans, preparing the land for construction. And listen, it's very, very important to make sure that you know that the land is buildable before you actually buy it. Okay, especially if you're building in or around view lots, surrounding your area. This usually costs around $16,000 depending on the extent of the work. This can also include money that you'll have to pay to the local government, like the impact fees, which pays for roads, parks in your community. Again, that just really depends on your neighborhood. Is it existing? Are you building out in the boonies? There's a lot of things that come into play here. So the cost of a foundation, again, varies greatly. It's usually around $25,000. The foundation is going to include, the excavation to ensure that your land is completely leveled before construction is started. The home's foundation costs are also going to include concrete and lumber. Do you have a basement? Stuff like that. So if your home is going to have a basement, count on foundation costs being even more. And please keep in mind, these are averages. Okay, I've said it more than once. That's because I don't want you to forget. So from there, you're going to pay for framing, which is going to be obviously tens of thousands of dollars. And then you're going to pay similar costs for exterior finishes. Now, exterior finishes, include the walls and support structures, as well as things like windows and doors. So Again, you want to count on spending about 35 grand for your systems like your HVAC and plumbing. And then you can actually start counting the costs for your home's interior. Now this is probably where most of your budget is actually going to go, and there's a lot of variance depending on the type of finishes you want. Okay, so interior finishes include everything from your countertops and cabinets to your trim. You know, are you getting pine cabinets or are you getting cherry wood? Because there is a very, very, very different cost factor involved just between those two. You know, are you pouring custom concrete counters? I've seen those, and those are fantastic. Or are you doing something, you know, a little bit easier to get a hold of, like granite or quartz? Okay. Again, there's so much variance that you can do. So the question is it cheaper to buy or is it cheaper to build? Well, whether or not it's cheaper to build or buy or build isn't something that can actually necessarily be answered very easily. It all depends. You know, for example, the average sales price of a home across the country was in 2017 was $291,000. Okay, that's a joke for my area, but it's quite a bit lower than the average building price of 428. So as you can tell, these figures in a lot of areas are not going to make any sense. But that doesn't mean that you can't build a cheaper house. It's all up to you and where you live and the type of materials that you use. So if you decide to build a house, you know, unless you're paying cash as you go, you're going to need a construction loan. And a construction loan is usually converted or refinanced into a mortgage loan once the house is completed. So you're going to go through a similar application process for a construction loan as you do a mortgage. But rather than getting the money in a lump sum, your builder is actually going to get a series of draws. Okay, so your builder is going to request a draw, then they're moving on to the next phase of work. So as an inspector comes out, checks on the progress for the lender, and then disperses the draw. Sounds easy, right? So if you're thinking about that, give me a call and let's discuss further details about other things that could potentially come up. So that's really all I have for you today. I want to thank M News for providing all the information that they provided today. And remember, don't keep me a secret. Hi, Lori, how are you? If there's a topic that you'd like me to discuss in the future, just let me know and I'll get it on the calendar as soon as I can. I hope you have a fantastic week. Remember, be kind to one another. Don't forget to live, laugh, and love. And contact Rick for Homes. All right? Talk to you soon. Take care. Bye, everyone.